And in his latest annual letter to Berkshire Hathaway, BRK-A BRK-B, shareholders published Saturday, Buffett not only touts the United States' economic track record but also takes a jab at the doomsayers he's met along the way, including a younger version of himself. Over the last 77 years during which American companies have enjoyed these stellar returns, a lot has changed about the country and its financial standing. The national debt, for instance, is now more than $22 trillion. Those worried most acutely about this debt load note that the overhang presents a challenge to future economic growth, a financial burden for future generations, and risks the status of the dollar as the world's reserve currency. Buffett knows that for many, this debt burden makes investing in a hard asset like gold attractive. One day the debt must be dealt with, and that day will be a painful one for investors, the thinking goes. But to Buffett, it will be and has been far more painful for investors that try to anticipate that day of reckoning for the U.S. government while eschewing the American tailwind that has been so kind to him and many other investors. Those who regularly preach doom because of government budget deficits, as I regularly did myself for many years, might note that our country's national debt has increased roughly 400-fold during the last of my 77-year periods, Buffett writes. That's 40,000%. Suppose you had foreseen this increase and panicked at the prospect of runaway deficits and a worthless currency. To protect yourself, you might have eschewed stocks and opted instead to buy ounces of gold with your dollar. And what would that supposed protection have delivered? You would now have an asset worth about $4,200, less than 1% of what would have been realized from a simple unmanaged investment in American business. The magical metal was no match for the American metal. In the long run, Buffett notes, we're all dead anyway. Christopher Wren, architect of St. Paul's Cathedral, lies buried within that London church. Near his tomb are posted these words of description, translated from Latin, "If you would seek my monument, look around you." Those skeptical of America's economic playbook should heed his message. Buffett also reminds readers that the story of America's economic success is a shared one. In a country of self-made success stories, no one truly meets the definition. It is beyond arrogance for American businesses or individuals to boast that they have done it alone. The tidy rows of simple white crosses at Normandy should shame those who make such claims. There are also many other countries around the world that have bright futures. About that, we should rejoice. Americans will be both more prosperous and safer if all nations thrive. At Berkshire, we hope to invest significant sums across borders. Over the next 77 years, however, the major source of our gains will almost certainly be provided by the American tailwind. We are lucky, gloriously lucky, to have that force at our back. Miles Udland is a reporter and anchor at News Pulse Finance. Follow him on Twitter at Miles Udland.